Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Piggy on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little afternoon transfer news update for you. Oh yes, we've got the latest Man United goings on and all the rest of it as well. So strap yourselves in. We've got a good show for you this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us and getting in here, everybody. Waiting patiently for us to get going. We have got Berber the Don. Get in there, my son. Lucky Singh, Chris Barker, CZ Bam. How you guys doing? Dynamic Melon, Lucky, Aaron. Let's go, the Hoop Man. How are you today? Oh yes, CZ Bam, Compost Smurf. Thank you everybody for getting in here. Each and every single one of you legends. I appreciate you joining aboard the Bacon Express this afternoon. Yeah, hope you're all having a good day, guys. Hello, Primot, Luan France, T-Mill, Gavin, and everybody else as well. Thank you very much for joining the stream. Do us a favour at the start of the show. Smash that like button on this video. Hit the thumbs up. Drop a little like on it. You know it makes sense. Also, give us a share around. You can give us a share on Twitter. You can retweet the pinned tweet that's at the top of the live chat there, and we will shout you out later on in the show. But also feel free to give us a share anywhere you want. Project it onto your local village hall if you want to do that. You know, if you've got the capabilities, that'd be awesome. Just share it around wherever you can. And as Luan says here, hit the likes, guys. We got 40 likes already. Drop the thumbs ups on it. That helps out the stream. Give us a cheeky little like at the start of this one. Okay, then. So, plenty to discuss, plenty to get into. Let's go in there raw and discuss the sort of latest goings on at Manchester United at the moment. Obviously, United in the process of selling a couple of players. So we're trying to make way, obviously, for a couple of new signings. And Fabrizio Romano actually gave us a nice update earlier on, about 7 hours ago, in regards to a Jean-Claire TODIBO, which will just pop up in the bottom right hand corner of the screen right there, folks. So this is what he said. He said Manchester United had contacts to be informed on the conditions of Jean-Claire TODIBO deal. No bid or talks at this stage, as the option could only be activated if Harry Maguire leaves Man United. Juventus already left the race for TODIBO last week. See you later on, Mags. No one gives a shite. You know, that's really what we're hoping for, obviously, is the best possible outcome. Harry Maguire leaves and we go out there and sign a replacement. Jean-Claire TODIBO would be brilliant. We've got confirmation now from a tier 1 source that Man United have had contacts, at least, for the possibility of bringing in a Jean-Claire TODIBO, which would be excellent signing for us. Looks like a real quality player, and he's only young, and he can obviously come in and do a job in a rotationary role for Manchester United, give us competition, give us depth, and hopefully an improvement upon what we've got currently, which is, let's face it, a breeze block of a centre-back. Harry Maguire's got more holes in him than a cheese grater. And he plays about as good as one as well. So that's the problem there, really. We've just got somebody in there at the moment who's not really good enough. Obviously, yesterday highlighted that yet again with another Harry Maguire error. Time for this guy to get on his bicycle and cycle to Stoke-on-Trent or wherever he wants to go to get bloody game time. Certainly West Ham United looks the most possible place. So, yeah, new reports that United are sniffing around Jean-Claire TODIBO. Hopefully we can get a deal done soon for this guy, but it is perhaps dependent on us getting rid of Harry Maguire. We're still waiting for extra confirmation that perhaps we've signed up Johnny Evans to a longer term sort of deal here, which I think we should. What do you reckon, guys? After you've seen Johnny Evans in pre-season for United, would you sign him up to a long-term, well, not necessarily a long-term deal, it's still a short-term deal, but would you give him a year or two's contract as a backup sixth-choice centre-back, guys? Yes or no? Have a vote in the live chat. But for me, it's kind of a no-brainer because he's obviously got that pedigree of winning things and has the experience. He is mid-30s. He's not really looked tremendous in pre-season, but neither's Harry Maguire, to be honest with you guys. And we're just talking about somebody to be a sixth-choice centre-back. You know what I mean? Like just somebody to come in and be an option if you need somebody at some stage if there's injuries galore. And Maguire right now is that player. But the only difference is he's on £200,000 a week. So pretty outrageous to think that he's our sixth or seventh choice backup option. I'd rather just sign up Johnny to a cheap deal for a short-term 1-year contract and then get rid of Maguire, sell him for 30 million or 25 million. And then just have Johnny as the sixth or seventh choice. He's still very rarely going to play, especially if we were to bring in Jean-Claire TODIBO. But, you know, he's obviously like just a backup. So it doesn't really matter either way, especially if we go and get Jean-Claire TODIBO. It really doesn't matter if we get Johnny Evans or not. A lot of no's coming in the live chat. Mikhail says Evans over Slab. That's kind of how I feel as well, Mikhail. Like, Most people don't really want Johnny Evans because there's no point of him really being here. He's not going to get in the first team. But there might be that occasion where you do need to rotate the side a little bit. You do need to have somebody come in and just be a backup, cover an injury or two. And Johnny Evans is just as good at doing that as Harry Maguire. So that's why I would take him on for a year. And that's if we can get rid of Harry Maguire, of course. If Maguire goes and we generate the cash and get his wages off the books, happy days. Johnny Evans, please do come in and play for us again. You know, that'd be nice. And then obviously Jean-Claude Todibo added to the ranks would be a big addition also. Somebody that's only 23, that looks really good, that has the potential to go on and do some really good things. We know that Maguire is proven to be a guff merchant. You know, he's 30 years of age now. He's slabbed it up for 4 years at Manchester United. Still the most expensive defender in the world. And one of the worst. Outrageous, really. But, you know, he is still here at this moment in time. It's a big if as to whether or not we can get rid of this guy. Let's get on to that then. So, Harry Maguire, potential to be sold. Let's discuss it. Right now, there are fresh reports this afternoon coming in that suggest that West Ham are now going to turn their attentions back to trying to bring in Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire once again at for their football club. Breaking, West Ham are trying to sign Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay in a double deal. They are working to find a solution around Maguire's wages and believe a package of 55 to 60 million pounds could convince United to sell him and McTominay. Yes, you are right. That would do the business, wouldn't it, guys? I mean, what do you think, guys? Valuation-wise, I'm going 55, 60 million pounds is absolutely spot on for these two players. 55, to be honest. I'll sell them both for 55, a combined fee of 55 mil. Because obviously I'm valuing Scotty at 30 and I'm valuing Harry Maguire at 25. That equals 55 million. Sounds absolutely perfect. Exactly. Berber says, take it. Please accept it. 100% agree. Like, if there was an offer that came in from West Ham for both of these guys for around about 50 to 60 million pounds, at this stage United would be foolish not to actually accept the deal. Everybody agrees in the live chat more or less. 50, 25 each says FJT, 50 max. Bite their hands off says CZ Bam. Yeah. 50 to 60, 50 in a bag of balls. 50, 55, 50, snap their arms off if we get 60 million for both. 50 gone, 40 to 45 combined. I said you buy one, you get one free. We do well to get 25 because of Slabby's wages. That is the key point here. You're absolutely right, Johnny. I'm with you there. The wages of Harry Maguire make this possibility of getting a big amount of money lessened because of how much this guy is paid every single week, obviously. An insane amount. And just on the wages, there's an expectation that West Ham are trying to find a solution on the wages. Now, I don't really know what that solution would be, but you know, we're West Ham working to find a solution around Harry Maguire's wages and believe a package of 55 to 60 could convince Man United to sell him and McTominay. Yeah, nice one. But what sort of wages, you know, what sort of solution are they looking to find? I don't think Maguire is going to be prepared to go and play for less money. Either the case is that they obviously offer a lesser amount of money up front in terms of the transfer fee, which enables them to maybe pay him a little bit more every single week and justify it, or they don't really go in for him, I think. I don't know. If United aren't prepared to sell for 25 million, it's unlikely that West Ham see the value in it just because of how much wages Maguire actually gets. And from Maguire's point of view, it's unlikely that he's going to want to just give up a couple of £100,000+ a week at United to go and play for shitting West Ham for somewhere in the region of, I don't know, 150 grand a week or whatever he's actually worth. So, you know, that's the problem that he's facing at the moment, is that because of his wages, he's kind of priced out of a move to many places. He might have to take a little cut in wages in order to actually be wanted by various different football clubs, because we pay him far too much money. But in reality, that's not going to happen. He's not just going to turn down 200+ grand a week at United to go and play for West Ham, even if he can play regular football. So something would have to be done there. West Ham would have to stump up the cash and pay him his wages. United would have to agree to let him go for a little bit less, because as we said, they will look at the overall cost of Harry Maguire's transfer as not just the transfer fee up front, but also the wages down the road. So at the moment, he's on 200 grand a week. Let's just use that because it's 9.6 million pounds a year. Let's call it 10 million a year in wages that this guy is being paid. An insane amount of cash. 10 million a year. Add that onto the transfer fee. That's how much it's going to cost West Ham. So they know that they are in for a very expensive signing for a few years, regardless, even if the transfer fee is not that big up front. So crikey, we're going to have to let him go for £25 million. Anything more than that is a little bit of a disgrace. Maybe United can save face a little bit and not be seen to sell him so cheaply if we can do a double deal with West Ham for, say, 55 or 60 million, because then it leaves a little bit of question marks. Oh, how much was Maguire worth? How much was McTominay going for in that double deal? So that's what our best bet is, I think, is just to allow them to buy both of our players for somewhere between 50 and 60 million, and that will leave a little bit in the deal for West Ham to be able to justifiably pay Harry Maguire somewhere in the region of a couple £100,000 a week. Because we're not going to be paying him a percentage of his wages for the remainder of his contract. He's already got a couple of years left, few years left on his deal. It's like, we're not going to pay a percentage of his wages to go and play for West Ham. That will not happen. So that's not a possibility for West Ham. West Ham have to pay him that couple £100,000 a week, I think. So, David Moyes obviously wants him. He's known to be a big admirer of Slabby Maguire. When he goes to bed at night, he reaches under his bed, and underneath there is a laminated picture of Harry Maguire. That's what's known, is that he does have a penchant for Slabby. So, if that's the case, then maybe we can get this deal done and Harry Maguire will be off our books soon enough. Because David Moyes loves Harry Maguire by all accounts. He wants him. He thinks that he would add good value to his team. So if that's the case, it should happen, because they've got a big injection of cash recently with the Declan Rice sale. And because of what's going on with Man United and Slabby being so surplus to requirements now, we're pushing him. And it could well happen. So I fundamentally do think that, yes, he will go. Plus what Gareth Southgate said, it increases the chances that Maguire is going to think about his England career as well. What do you reckon, guys? What's your gut feeling? Will Maguire leave? Yes or no? What's your gut feeling? But I think he will, because I think we've got to start listening to these offers from West Ham, even if it's a slightly improved bid. If there's an offer that comes in for 25 mil, snap their hand off. If we can get both McTominay and Maguire gone for 55 million, snap their hand off. But I guess it comes down to whether or not it's affordable for West Ham in terms of wages and the overall cost of the deal. Gungshi, guys, can we get some big love in the live chat there for Gungshi? Oh, Gungshi Leone, my son. He's been a member for 42 months of the Bacon Brigade. What an absolute legend. Thank you very much, Gungshi. I really do appreciate you supporting this channel for 42 months, lad. A sausage soldier. Check out this guy, guys. Check out this handsome bastard. Mate, let's get a hashtag 42 in the live chat there for the Don that is Don Gungshi. Absolute hero of the Hamada. Long live Don Gungshi. 42 months a member of this channel, nearly 4 years. What an absolute stone cold legend. Give me a hell yeah in the live chat for Don Gungshi. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold Eric Ten Hag said so. Absolutely. Hey, Gungshi, really appreciate you supporting this channel all that time, mate. Thanks so much. Hashtag 42 for the legend. Yes, guys, absolutely. Oh, Gungshi, get in there, my son. Oh, Gungshi Leone. Oh, Don Gungshi Leone. He's gifted out 5 members on the channel there as well. You handsome bastardo. Get in there. 5 new members courtesy of the Don. Welcome to the Hamada, to the 5 new legends of the channel, made possible by the legend that is the Don Gungshi. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. By the way, guys, if you're just getting in here, make sure you smash that like button on this video. Hit the thumbs up on it. Give us a massive like spike. Share it around on social media as well. And get yourself in there raw. But yeah, that is absolutely amazing, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. Gungshi gifting out 5 members on the channel. Appreciate that one, dude. You are a special individual, sir. Much love to you, Gungshi. Let's see who he's gifted the membership to real quick. So, Avenger Mars. Welcome into Avenger Mars, getting the membership there. Uncaged Squid. Oh, yes, indeed. Furkan Aaron. United 90 as well. And Shithouse Glazers out. Get in there, my son. Couldn't have gone to any more appropriate peeps. Let's get hashtag Glazers out. You love to see it. Shithouse Glazers out is now a member of the channel. Absolutely stunning stuff. Mate, thank you to Gungshi once again for gifting out 5 members on the channel. Very, very kind of you, bud. Very, very nice. Very nice indeed. Yes, thank you, Jedi Stew. Thank you, Gungshi says, love to the Bacon Brigade. You're a legend, lad. You're a legend. Okay, so let's crack on with the news, but big love to Gungshi there. Really do appreciate that, my friend. Thanks for the support. Hey, and we smashed 72.9k subscribers. Come on! Get in there, my son! Oh, yes! Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. We've hit 72.9. Keep hitting the subscribe button. If you guys are new to the show, We're on our way to 73,000 subscribers. So hit the subscribe if you're new. It's free to subscribe. We cover all the latest news. Sorry for that loud noise there, guys. I apologise. We cover all the latest Man United news on this channel, so get yourself involved because we're on our way to 73,000. Nice one. Right, anyway, let's crack on a little bit here. Let's crack on. So, yes, we know that West Ham are very interested in Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay, and there is an understanding that they may well go for him soon now. So Sky Sports Dharma Chef is reporting that having reached an agreement in principle for Edson Alvarez, West Ham are expecting to go back in for Man United's Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. That's today that he's reporting that. Let's hope it's the case. We're expecting a bid sometime in the next week. We know that we're working on other outs at the moment. Obviously, Donny van der Beek and Fred, we'll get onto that in a moment. But let's cover the big sort of news of the day, which is that West Ham are expected to go in for a bid soon for Scott McTominay and Maguire. Now, there's other teams that are interested in both of these guys, by all accounts. We know that Roma and Jose Mourinho are potentially interested in Scott McTominay as well, which I could see happening, I suppose. It's unlikely. It's less likely than both of these guys staying in the Prem, but I guess it could happen. And there is a reason for that. So here's a report that suggests that Nemanja Matic is a wanted by Rennes, Stade de Rennes over in France. So this is obviously you can't read it because it's in French or whatever, but apparently, Rennes are interested in Nemanja Matic, which opens up the possibility that Jose Mourinho's looking for another sort of midfield enforcer. And he's highlighted Scott McTominay maybe as somebody that could go and do that job for him. So quite a couple of different clubs now interested in Scotty. There's reportedly a few different clubs that are interested in Mags. So the clubs that are at this moment interested in Mags, there's a few in Italy by all accounts, but take that with a pinch of salt. West Ham, Spurs, Everton. These are the most likely candidates and most likely places for Maguire to go to. He may well stay at Manchester United because fundamentally it does boil down to what these guys want. And if Harry Maguire does not want to go anywhere, wants to try and fight for his place in the team lineup, then he will stay, won't he, and collect his couple $100,000 a week. What does fight for his place in the team lineup mean, by the way? He's not going to be capable of doing that. He's proven shite. I think the pressure on him is just too big now. Anytime he gets on the pitch, he looks like he's shaky. You know, he certainly looks like he's not comfortable whenever he's on the pitch, and that the problem with that is it sets him up for a fail every single time he's out there. His confidence is clearly shot in a red shirt. Man United need to move him on. He needs to go somewhere else to revitalise his career. I bet you Harry Maguire, if he was to sign for West Ham, would probably have a very good season for West Ham. Problem is the pressure is just too much for him at Man United. It's like he's constantly expecting to fail and setting himself up for failure every time he gets out on the pitch, and I think that's kind of obvious because that's what happens. Is every time he goes out there he fails, and his confidence is just shot. So I don't think there's any way back for Harry Maguire at United. It's not like he's going to go and fight his way into the first team. He's not going to get in there ahead of Raphael Varane or even Lindelof at this stage, I don't think. Certainly not Martinez the Butcher. So as far as I'm concerned, Maguire is a done, spent force at Manchester United, and we should just move him on as soon as humanly possible. But we're hoping that West Ham bid comes in very, very soon. He's not the only player that there's bids for, as I say, McTominay. Let's get on to the news about Fred. So the Fred sale is expected very, very soon. We've heard multiple sources say that it's basically, you know, a formality. They've just got to finalise things with various different approaches and find out, obviously, what's best for the club in terms of the amount of money they can get. And also, Fred needs to make a decision soon enough about where he's going to play. By all accounts, there's a few different teams that are interested in Fred. So Fabrizio says that Manchester United expect the Fred sale to advance next week. Sources guarantee he will 100% leave the club. I mean, I guess you can't say 100%, but it does look like there's plenty of different teams that are sniffing around him. There's a couple from Saudi Arabia, obviously. Fulham are interested in the guy, a couple from Turkey as well. And he says that negotiations will also continue with Real Sociedad for Donny van der Beek. So we know that Donny van der Beek's wanted by Real Sociedad. And it's known that once these two are gone, that is when we will go and exercise the option to go and bid for Sofyan Amrabat. So, you know, obviously hoping that we can get rid of Maguire so we can go and get TODIBO. Hoping we can get rid of Fred and Donny so we can go and get Amrabat. There's no possibility of us going to get KANE, it looks like at this stage, but I don't know if you saw the reports today, some tentative reports coming out from Sky and various places about Harry Kane saying that Spurs have actually rejected Bayern's latest bid for Harry Kane. So goodness knows what's going on there. We heard that Daniel Levy had gone on holiday to the USA, fanning it up and fanning around. And he's obviously, it seems like Spurs have rejected this offer for KANE. So I don't really know what to suggest going on there, guys, because you would have thought that the reported offer of somewhere in the region of 100 million euros, plus some add-ons and things, would have been enough to convince Spurs to sell them to Bayern. I don't know what they're playing at there. They're expecting to get even more money than that, are they? It's crazy. I mean, he's got a year left on his contract. If they are not careful, they run the risk of losing this guy for nothing in a year's time. Very odd indeed. I mean, United should do what we can to go and try and sign him towards the end of the window, but it's not going to happen, is it, guys? I mean, what do you think? Smash a 1 in the chat if you think United will try and sign Harry Kane. Smash a different number in there if you just really do think that there's no possibility at all. I don't think we will. I know we should try, but we won't, guys. We'd have to sell so many different players. We'd literally have to sell all the 7 players that are on the hit list for us to try and sell. We won't be able to sell all of them. And even if we did do that, there's probably other areas of the team that actually make sense to sort of go and get players in as well. Like if we do sell Maguire, we're going to need to get somebody else in like TODIBO maybe. If we sell McTominay, Fred and Donny, crikey, we're going to need Sofyan Amrabat, maybe somebody else in the centre of the park. But I do think we need another forward. We're looking at this Leonardo guy as well, so he's a cheaper option. I can't see United spending in excess of £100 million on anybody else considering what we've spent. Lots of 2s coming in the live chat. You'd sign Zlatan back. 2, says Mikhail. Gregory thinks we will try to. I don't know, Colin Ralph. Levy's a lunatic, isn't he? He's sticking to his guns on this one. He feels like they can get even, I don't know, 120 million maybe for Harry Kane. Very unlikely that they will receive such amount of cash, though. As far as I'm concerned, it's just too greedy from Spurs at this stage with a player who's got a year left on his deal. Jedi says, I'd love Kane, but can't see it happening. Yeah, I'm with you. I can't see it. Yep, Gonçalo went to PSG. Absolutely. I mean, Spurs want what they want. Will they get that? It's unlikely. I think Bayern have put in 3 different bids now for Harry Kane, and all of them are very good bids, particularly the last one, which is believed to be around about 100 million euros. So if they're rejecting that, crikey, there's not much room for manoeuvre there for Manchester United. It's not like we are going to go and beat that. We're not going to say, hey, look, Daniel Levy, have 130 million pounds from the guy. It's not going to happen. So yeah, very unlikely unless we were to get new owners in tomorrow, which also isn't going to happen. It's just unlikely. So I don't know what's going on there. Let's just hope that Harry Kane stays at Spurs and just gets his head down for a year, and then maybe we can add him to Manchester United's forward line next summer. I think maybe that's the best bet. And that's probably the best bet for Harry Kane as well, because he stands to make the most money by doing that, and he will have free reign as a free agent of where he wants to go. So it's not just Bayern. Bayern are the only club right now who are actually prepared to go and bid and pay the crazy money it seems that Spurs want, even though they rejected their last offer. But it's only really Bayern that are trying to bring in Kane at this moment in time. But in a year's time, if he was a free agent, he could obviously decide wherever the heck he wants to go to and go and play for whoever he wants, because everybody would want Kane. So if I was Kane, I'd just wait it out for a year. You know, what's one more year at Spurs going to do for him? It's not going to do much. You know, he's already been there winning absolutely piss all for the however long, carrying them on his back. So one more year doing that's not really going to affect him, I don't think. Yes, he might want away. He could get his head down and play another year for Spurs, add some more goals to his tally so he can, you know, take over Alan Shearer's goal scoring record in the future. And then in a year's time, guess what? He's a free agent. He can make shitloads of money signing on for another team and get paid huge wages and do whatever he wants. So think that Harry will probably maybe do that, but if Tottenham are rejecting offers from Bayern for 100 mil, you would think he would want to go at Bayern and win some trophies, and that's understood to be the case. But Spurs, too difficult to deal with. They may be pricing themselves out of this move for Harry Kane at this moment by all accounts, asking for too much cash, rejecting great offers from Bayern Munich. They're not going to get more than Bayern Munich's last offer. It's reported to be 100 million euros. So they're not going to get more than that, I don't think. They're just being greedy. And because of that, they might actually spite themselves where they end up not being able to get rid of Harry Kane this summer. Then they'll have to just lose him in a year's time. So very, very strange behaviour from Tottenham. I would imagine that their last offer would have been accepted. But there you go. So where do you see Harry Kane ending up, guys? Let us know in the live chat. Do you think he will continue at Spurs this season? Let us know. Put a Spurs in the chat if you think he'll join, or if you think he'll stay at Spurs, or put a Bayern in there if you think before the end of the window he will be gone. But I can't imagine Bayern are going to keep coming back. That's 3 bids that have been rejected by Tottenham now. I can't imagine they're going to go in with a 4th bid for over £100 million. Craziness. I can just see him staying at Spurs for a year and then going in a year's time. But who knows? Spurs says 0793. Get in there, my son. Cass says United. Bayern or Man U says FJT. Spurs says Alan. Spurs says Alan. BM. Bayern Munich says Madhouse. United says FJT. United in Jan. Respect. Spurs, he's probably regretting leaving, not letting him go to City. No professional ambition for either of the Harrys. I don't know. I think Harry Kane has some ambition. He's not signed a new deal at Spurs, has he? He's not been content just to stay there and sign another 3, 4, 5-year deal and just resign himself to winning 0 trophies. He actually wants to leave right now. And last summer he wanted to leave as well. Man City had gone in for him. But the thing is, obviously, they refused to let him go. And he had to get his head down and play football. He's not just going to sit around and throw his toys out the pram. He's a professional. So he plays the games, but he plays it reluctantly. He managed to score 30 goals out of sheer frustration for those Spurs melts. But I think Harry Kane has a bit of ambition now. He wants to go somewhere and win some trophies before he retires as a footballer. I think that's pretty clear with what's going on. The fact that he has not spoken publicly about staying at Spurs. He might have not said, I want to leave. But that's because he's a legend at Spurs. He doesn't want to piss off the fan base. He wants to leave in as amicable way as possible, I think. But because of his career winding down now, well, I say winding down, but he's only got like 5 years at the very top level left. He's got to go somewhere to win some trophies, and he knows that. So he will be going sooner or later. It's just whether or not it's this summer, or perhaps it could be next summer, Kane won't ever be a Red Devil. Leave it, says Primot. Well, we can dream. He would be a sensational player for us. You don't believe he has any ambition, says Mark. He's still a melt for re-signing with them. Well, yes, he did re-sign for them a couple of years back, didn't he? I think that's fair. But he probably thought they were going somewhere at that stage. They were progressing at that time. They were finishing in Champions League spots. They were doing reasonable things. They weren't winning trophies or titles, but they were going in the right direction. But you look at last season, they've gone right to shite. Now they've got Greek Celtic manager involved. It's is there any convincing to Harry that they're going to win the league this season? Unlikely. I think their coach is actually going to be decent, but, there's no real emphasis on confidence being put into the team that they are actually on the course to win some trophies. It's not going to happen. So very much doubt that he wants to stay at Spurs any longer. He'll be looking to move on soon. It's interesting. Just wanted to talk about it. It doesn't affect Manchester United anyway. We've gone and bought our player, our Rasmus Hojlund striker. He's expected to be our main man for the next however long, many years. We've got plenty of good young players at the football club as well. Kane is obviously better than all of them in terms of goal scoring because he scored 30 league goals last season. But right now, just very unlikely that that's going to be the case. We won't go for him, I don't think. We're expecting to be pushing to get a couple of players out, though, as I say, like Fred, Donny, Eric Bailly. So here's another report that just says that Man United hope to push through the sales of Donny van de Beek and Fred this week. While they await better offers for Harry Maguire and Eric Bailly, United need to sell before they make their next transfer move, with Sofyan Amrabat and Jean-Claire Todibo among the targets. So it's unlikely we'll be able to generate the cash to go in for Kane anyway. We've already spent a lot this summer, so we can basically just write off the Kane situation, as we're probably not going to try and get him. But Donny go in, Fred go in, potentially Maguire, McTominay, Bailly go in, Henderson go in. We will have a bit of money left to play with. Our net spend will have shrunk quite considerably after we've bought the players we have, and if we sell these handful of players we're discussing now, the net spend will go right down. So surely we can add another player or two to our ranks. So if we could go and sign Sofyan Amrabat, that would be amazing. Jean-Claire Todibo. I'm hoping for that, guys. I'm hoping that we go out there and we sign 2 more players this summer transfer window, and those 2 players hopefully will be Sofyan Amrabat and Jean-Claire Todibo. Those would be fantastic additions to replace the guff that we've currently got in those areas. Sofyan improves the midfield considerably, and I think Jean-Claire Todibo would give us a great future prospect in the centre-back position, who's better than Harry Maguire and gives us good amount of cover and depth in that area. So Jean-Claire Todibo, Sofyan Amrabat, that to me would round off a fantastic window, particularly with a lot of these gash players we're mentioning going out of the football club. Let's ask the chat, how many different players now do you think Manchester United will sign between now and the end of the window? Have your say in the chat. But I'm trying to remain optimistic. I am going to say 2. I do think we will be able to get Jean-Claude Todibo. If not Jean-Claude Todibo, maybe another centre-back option. And I'm going to say Sofyan Amrabat. So I'm going to remain ambitious and remain hopeful that Manchester United do want to try and give Erik ten Hag all that he needs this summer to try and do the job. 3, says Jake Ladd. Bloody hell, 3 to 4 at best. What? You guys think we're going to get 3 or 4 players? You're off your tits. 1, says Thugger. 2, says Tonk Nash. 1 says Aardan, 2 says Stay Gold, 2 to 3, 2 between 1 and 3, 2. Mate, if we get 3 new players, that'd be absolutely amazing. The Hoopman says 2. Superstar, I'm with you. He says 2, a defender and Amrabat, 2. 4, the money's coming. Wow, okay. From sales, well, it is. Yes, I think you're right. Maybe Leonardo could come in as well. That's a great shout, actually, Danny B. So there has been links, obviously. Maybe we could go and get Jean-Claude Todibo, Sofyan Amrabat, and Leonardo. That'd be amazing. Amrabat and Leonardo, says Gregory. Nice one. 3, says Marken. Amrabat, Todibo, and Leonardo. Well, that would round off an absolutely exceptional transfer window. It'd give us what we need, certainly. So I like that. Thank you so much, everyone, for getting in there with your say. Right, well, I'm going to move on to the next topic now then. And but there are player sales coming, just to bookend that little discussion. There are player sales coming. We're expecting Bailly can be sold soon. Donny, Fred, hopefully Maguire and McTominay. More news here from the MEN that says Bailly, Fred and Donny are close to leaving Manchester United. Those are probably the 3 players that are most likely to go soonest. And once that's happened, then we can start to go and work on Sofyan Amrabat. So let's talk about Sofyan Amrabat, guys. Sofyan Amrabat's situation is much the same, unfortunately, which is we are looking to sell these players like Donny and Fred and these guys. And it's known that once these guys are gone, hopefully we will go in for Sofyan Amrabat. There is some news about Sofyan Amrabat maybe being wanted by Juve at this stage. So let's have a talk about this. So there's a chance that Juventus might be trying to hijack the Sofyan Amrabat deal. There's news that Amrabat has said no to the likes of West Ham and various different Saudi teams. Juventus, I don't think with what's going on with them at the moment and the fact that they are obviously being punished and European football is not presently there for them at this moment because of their shithousery. I don't think he would want to go to Juventus either, but there are some reports here. Gazzetta over in Italy reporting that Juventus are trying to hijack Manchester United's move for Sofyan Amrabat. And they're obviously a very big club, obviously one of Italy's best sort of teams, but right now they're a bunch of shithouses. And the fact is, he's got that link with Erik ten Hag there. He knows of the guy. He knows of the guy's management skills and abilities and style. And he's interested in playing for him. And by all accounts, he's already agreed to join Manchester United. He's already said no to various different teams. There's been lots of different teams that's come in for Sofyan Amrabat because he represents brilliant value for a brilliant player. In terms of the amount of money you're paying for the guy, he's a bargain compared to so many other different players like Declan Rice going for 105 million, or even having to fork out 30 mil potentially for Shotbag McTominay if you're West Ham. Sofyan Amrabat represents a brilliant piece of business. So obviously West Ham have got this agreement in place essentially. Let's have a look at this little report here. They've got this agreement in place for Edson Alvarez over at Ajax. But check this out. So this is from Sky Sports Damashev that says, having reached an agreement in principle for Edson Alvarez, West Ham are expected to go back in for Man United's Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. But they've got a deal there. Does it increase or decrease the likelihood that they go in for McTominay? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But either way, Sofyan Amrabat, once some of these players are gone, should be the target of Manchester United's next acquisition. We should go and try and sign him, obviously. Juventus sniffing around him. As I mentioned, they have rejected, or Sofyan Amrabat's camp have rejected various different advances from different teams. So Alfredo Padilla reporting that Sofyan Amrabat has rejected offers from West Ham and Saudi Arabia as he wants to join Manchester United. This week, his move to United is expected to advance. So give it a few days, Pete. We've been saying this for a while, but we're just expecting a player sale to happen. Fred is imminently going. We know that because obviously last night, Fabrizio Romano reporting that Rasmus Hojlund will be given the 17 shirt, the number 17 at United as his kit number. We were all waiting to see what number he would get, and it looks like he's going to get the number 17. He basically teased it last night. Obviously, we're waiting for official confirmation from United, but this was fab last night. Up in the top right-hand corner, you can see he put a little tweet out with a Danish flag. Oh, Danish friends, saying 17 with a Dane flag. Obviously, that means that it's going to be likely that Rasmus Hojlund gets the number 17. Perhaps United are waiting on more player sales before they do decide on what shirt number Rasmus is getting. I.e., if we can get rid of Tony Martial, perhaps there's a possibility that he gets the number 9. But at this moment, number 17 seems to be a good shirt number for Rasmus Hojlund anyway. He likes it. And that's Fred's number at this moment in time. We know that we're working on Fred. He's imminently going to get sold. Fabrizio said as much as it's 100% going to happen. So we're expecting Fred to be going out, and obviously that shirt number becomes vacant. That's going to Rasmus Hojlund. So Fred probably will be sold the soonest now. And if not him, then Donny van der Beek. So those two players almost guaranteed to leave the football club at this moment, with other teams actually in negotiations with Manchester United and the players. Whereas all the other players we mentioned at this moment, unfortunately, still no fresh bids on the table for Maguire, McTominay, etc. So the number 17 for Rasmus Hojlund, yeah, that's going to increase the likelihood, obviously, that Fred is a goner. Most definitely. Martial's the French Phil Jones, says Alan Partridge. Unfortunately, he is unflushable, mate. He is difficult to get rid of because of his wages, etc. And he's so injury-prone and an absolute mess. I mean, we were talking about it last night, weren't we? There's some reports that suggest that West Ham are interested in Tony Martial. I find it very hard to believe that they would be interested in another one of our rejects. It reminds me of that TV show back in the day on Nickelodeon, guys. Manchester United's team, David Moyes. You remember Renford Rejects, guys? I'm going back a little bit now. Some of you won't have a fucking clue what I'm talking about. But there was this team called Renford Rejects. It was a program on Nickelodeon back in the day. And it was about a football team who were like all the fucking rejects that nobody wanted. They all came from the reject bin, basically. And they just all, were in this team and they were absolutely shite. That's the story. And that's kind of what David Moyes is looking to build over there at West Ham. Just start calling them the Renford Rejects, man. Next, they're going to sign Jason Summerby and Bruno Di Gradi. You know what I mean? Oh, there's a reference for some of you right there, guys. Yeah, some of you will get that reference. Oh, goodness me. What a TV show back in the day, by the way. Yeah, what a great TV show. Great program. Exactly, Joe Snow. Yeah, Renford Rejects was class. Yeah, you know it, guys. You know it. That's what David Moyes is making. He's making the Renford Rejects over there. He's going to get Tony Martial up front. He'll sign Bruno Di Gradi next. But anyway, right, okay. I've unlocked something in your memory there. Yes, indeed. It was classic, wasn't it? Filmed in Willesden. You remember Zola versus Keane episode. Go on, Etradems, lad. I remember some of the episodes. I remember the one where they went to Loftus Road to watch the great QPR play and stuff. It was a good TV show back in the day. I enjoyed it. But yeah, they were a bunch of absolute losers, basically, all chucked in the same team. That was the premise. This is what David Moyes is building over at West Ham. He's getting Slabby Maguire, Scott McTominay, Tony Martial. It's literally Reject FC. If he actually does want Tony Martial, he's mental. But I honestly think that story that was coming out last night, I do genuinely believe it's a load of fresh bollocks. Cannot imagine that they're prepared to buy another one of our reject players there and cover his wages also. Tony Martial, just like any human being, is not going to take a pay cut down to 80 grand a week, which is what he's actually worth, when he's on 200,000+ pounds a week. Who would do that? Nobody's going to do that. It's mental. Whether he's playing or not at Manchester United, you just see your contract out and go and sign for wherever you want as a free agent in a couple of years' time. Nobody's going to do that, guys. So I don't see Tony even wanting to leave Manchester United, unless somebody crazy out there wants to pay his wages to the maximum that he's getting right now, which isn't going to happen. He is priced out of a move. We're stuck with Tony. I agree with the commenter a minute ago who said that Tony's like the new Phil Jones. We're stuck with him. He's an injury-prone guy. He's just going to sit on the bench a lot of the time. Yes, he will come on occasionally now and then, I suppose. He'll probably play more of a role in the team than Phil Jones did, to be fair. But he's basically that. He's unsellable. We're stuck with him. Get used to seeing Tony's mug around the gaff, guys, because we're stuck with the guy. Very unlikely. But let's just pray and hope that story was actually true. And, perhaps it's just a case of somebody would come in for him. If it's not West Ham, which I find hard to believe, then there is still the outside possibility there's one Saudi Arabian team out there with so much bloody money in the coffers that they just go, you know what, Tony Martial, yeah, even though he plays with a leg made of flubber, let's go out and get him. Let's bring him in. He's a star name. He's a big player. He's a big name. Tony Martial. Everybody knows Tony Martial. Let's go get Tony. He'll score some goals. We can pay him the money. Maybe they'll do that. So I'm still holding out some hope, that Saudi team comes in for him. Vincent says, think Pig on Mighty Ducks. They were shit as D5. You what there, Vincent Bullock? Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Mighty Ducks was a banger as well, to be fair. But that's ice hockey, Vincent, mate. But that was absolutely awesome. Loved that as well. Yeah, the Mighty Ducks, mate. D5, absolutely. Changed their name, didn't they? That's how shit they were. Ten Hag should put him in the reserves. What's it going to do, though? I guess he's better off having Tony Martial around the gaff as a backup option just to hang out and be called upon as and when he's needed. See, the thing is, if he was to be really harsh, Ten Hag, and just go, hey, Tony, Harry, and Scotty, you guys are in the reserves. If that's the case, then, of course, it sends the message to these guys that they're completely surplus to requirements, they don't have any chance of playing, and go to a different club. That's the message it sends, but they're on such big money there, nobody else is going to pay them the money, so they're just happily sit in the reserves and collect their paycheck. You might as well make them train, you might as well utilise them as and when they're needed, as literal backup options. So we heard Ten Hag's comments on Tony Martial a few weeks ago in the pre-season interviews before one of the games. He said that Tony Martial is a good player and Tony Martial is a good goal scorer and he wants him to be fit so he could score goals. And he's saying all the right things because he has to say those things because he's on big money and he knows that he can't get rid of the man. He's impossible to get rid of. Martial has breadstick legs, says Alan Carter. That's the case, mate. Yeah, they snap every opportunity. When will he be needed? Hojlund, Greenwood, Sancho through the middle. Martial will be the third or fourth choice striking option at number 9. If you actually look at what Ten Hag's doing in the pre-season, you could argue that people like Jadon Sancho will be ahead of Tony Martial even through the middle now. So I think he is kind of putting things in place to make Tony Martial a complete backup option. But he will be utilised every now and again, won't he? If we're playing Rotherham in the League Cup third round or something, I would imagine that he's going to chuck in Tony Martial. You know, why risk a player getting injured? Why risk a player, not being 100% match fit for the next game? If you've got a melter like Tony, who is a good standard player, he does have the technical abilities. You could just chuck him in there, and that means that you've got an option there. So Tony's a decent backup, but that's all he is. Martial needs a solid PED program. Needs some human growth hormone, that guy. Hey, thank you, Shithouse Glazers. It was Gungshi, lad. It was Gungshi. Gungshi gifted you out a new membership there. Shout out to the main man, Don Gungshi. Yeah, there's a lot of reserves to use. True, we got people like Hugh Gill. I'd rather see the youngsters given chances, but Tony's on £200 a week. No, Maguire's not gone, Football Factory. Football Factory says, I'm here late. Is Maguire gone? Well, better late than never. Do us a favour if you're just getting in the stream, everybody. Make sure you smash that like button on this stream. We got 109 likes on this video, 231 watching. That is exactly less than half the people that are in here right now taking the time to like the video. You what? Bacon Brigade, assemble! Twat that thumbs up if you're just getting in the stream, guys. It helps the channel out. And it helps the growth of the channel and on the algorithm. So twat that thumbs up, guys. It's free. Take a second to leave a like. You know it makes sense. And if you're new to the channel, keep hitting the subscribe button, guys. We're 96 people away now from 73,000 subscribers. Get yourself in and subscribe if you are here for the first time. We love to hear from you. It's an interactive show. We always dip in and out the chat as we have been doing, but we do have a Q&A at the end of the show for everybody to have their say also. So subscribe, get your thoughts and opinions in. We want to hear from you. And smasheth the like of buttoneth. Nice one. No, Maguire's not gone, though, to answer your question, Football Factory. He's like a lingering stench. He's like a fart in a phone box. You know what I mean? It's like it hangs around for a while. You know what I mean? Unless you open the door and give it a good old wafting, it's going to remain for the next person who has to use that phone. That's a bit of an old school reference. Nobody uses phone boxes anymore, do they? In fact, phone boxes aren't even phone boxes half the time anymore. They've been turned into like bloody urinals or something, or like information centres. I don't know. That's what we should turn Harry Maguire into, actually, is a disused phone box. He's slabby enough, for one. But he does hang around, doesn't he? He lingers around there. Certainly is. Crack dens, that's true, Hoop Man. Yeah, you often see somebody laid on the floor who's pissed their pants with a needle hanging out of their arm, mate. That's also true. Good shout. It's Harry! No, I'm joking. Okay, right, guys, let me cover the rest of the news, then we will get into the chat for a bit of a Q&A, obviously. So we're pushing for players away. Another player who might be going out on loan. We talked about some loan options last night, Kovar. So just very quickly, it's expected that Kovar will go out on loan. We've got Heaton as a backup, who's a decent backup, to be fair. We've got Onana, who's going to be the main number one. We've still got Henderson at the club at the moment. We're trying to work on getting him gone as well. It's another player we're working on getting gone. But Nottingham Forest seemingly just talking with us about that and kicking the tyres non-stop about Henderson. But Kovar is set to leave on loan. That's reported by Samuel Luckhurst. We may well see him go out on loan. As I said about Kovar, I think he could do a good job as a backup for us. I like his distribution. I like how he goes about it. But he wants to play regular football, and I respect that. He's not just happy being a backup. By all accounts, he wants to go out there and play regularly. So he's going out on loan. It looks like soon enough. We'll let you know as and when we've got details about who he may be going to play for. Also, just very quickly, I mentioned it yesterday a little bit, but I want to just get it up on screen because we didn't have the for some reason the Twitter stuff wasn't working yesterday. But here's some news. The 1958, you can go and check them out on Twitter, guys. They're planning a 60-minute sit-in at Old Trafford after the Nottingham Forest fixture. Support them, make your voice heard, attend or retweet. So, you know, go and do what you can, guys. If you can, there's a sit-in taking place for the Forest game. Also, there's a protest that is all meeting up at the Trinity before the Wolves game. So, the Glazers shithouses don't seem to be going anywhere at this moment in time. We thought they'd be gone by now, and they're still lingering around the gaff like a fart in a phone box as well, those guys. In fact, they're more like a massive Triceratops turd in a phone box. They're taking up the whole bloody space, and it absolutely reeks. You know, like that Jurassic Park scene with that massive turd. That reminds me of the Glazer shithouses, to be honest. And the Glazers need to obviously go, and they're not going at the moment. And to convince them to go is easier said than done because they're making so much money out of this football club. But we're hoping that at some point Sheikh Jassim's bid gets accepted and that these tossers decide to go. You can increase that likelihood, I guess, by making their position as untenable as possible and as unpleasant as possible. Sit-ins, protests, whatever the case may be, not buying the sponsors' products so the sponsors get on their backs, etc. You know, I don't know what it's going to take to get rid of these guys. They are literally unflushable right now. But hopefully they go soon enough. We have to hopefully just see them go before things get silly. You know, I think things are going to get silly at this football club if they don't go soon enough. They might be spending money on players, but all the areas of this club are being left behind and dilapidated because of those shitbags. I'm not even going to talk about it anymore because it's too painful and it pisses me off, but hashtag Glazers out. Just wanted to mention this again, that there is planned protest. Get involved in any which way that you can. You can talk with your wallet. You can talk with your shoes or your feet. Don't go to the games at this moment in time. Form a human chain around the stadium and don't let these games take place. That's what I say. You know, that will send a message to them. That will lower the stock price. Of course it will. If the club is less profitable as well, if you're not putting your money into the football club, don't buy their shit shirts. Don't buy their new kit. They're pushing the new away kit, the new home kit, right down everyone's throats for the moment. Don't buy it. If you're buying it, if you're wearing it, you're a piece of shit, man. I'm joking. You're not a piece of shit, but, you know, you're part of the problem, mate. You're part of the problem. If you bought it and you're wearing it, you're promoting Glazer shithousery, my son. So, you know. But anyway, listen, I sat here wearing a United shirt, but this was bought for me. So, you know, different vibes. Different vibes. I'd never give my money to those Glazer shithouses. But there you go. Anyway, right, yeah. Glazers will be gone soon. I hope you're right, Clint. I really do. We're just hoping that they're gone soon. Right, guys, I'm going to do a little rundown of what we've discussed during this vid. You know, thank you everyone who's in here. Keep smashing those likes on the video and smash the subscribe and click the bell icon. Make sure you give us a retweet. It's pinned to the top of the live chat. Before we get into the Q&A, I will shout out every single legend that's given us a cheeky little retweet over there on Twitter. It takes a second to do that. If you're on there, feel free to share us around. Let me just cover what we've discussed in this video, then we'll get into the chat for anybody who's just getting in the stream. So, we are awaiting a new fresh bid for Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire, potentially coming from West Ham. There's an understanding that West Ham are trying to sign both of these guys, and maybe they could put in a bid or two bids in the region of around about 55 to 60 million pounds, and that could be enough to get these guys gone. I think we should snap their hand off if they do come in for another offer at all for Harry Maguire, but certainly if they want to put a double deal offer in there, that would be sensational. So West Ham trying to sign Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay in a double deal. They're working to find a solution around Maguire's wages and believe a package of 55 to 60 million could convince United to sell him and McTominay. I think they're absolutely right there. If they're prepared to pay 55 mil, you've got yourselves a deal, Davy Moyes and West Ham. You can have them. You can have them. Especially if you're prepared to pay Maguire's wages and we don't have to pay them. You can have them. And obviously Maguire's wages, they're looking for a solution. God knows what that solution would be, but hopefully just a lesser transfer fee up front makes the most sense for a solution to them actually wanting to pay Maguire's wages. I think their first offer of 20 million was a very fair offer. But if they do sell McTominay and Maguire, certainly Maguire, then there's an understanding that we will potentially turn our gaze to Jean-Claire Todibo. Manchester United had contacts to be informed on the conditions of the Jean-Claire Todibo deal. No bid or talks at this stage, but the option, it could only really be activated if Harry Maguire leaves. And if he does leave, then, yeah, we're expected to want to go and get another centre-back option. Juventus already left the race for Todibo last week, but that would be the best outcome is if we sell Harry Maguire and we are able to go in and bring in another centre-back, i.e. Jean-Claire Todibo would be an excellent addition to this football club. Not somebody that's going to come in there right now and get ahead of Varane and Martinez, but somebody that is a better option, hopefully, certainly for the future at 23 years of age, to go on and be a better option in the team and give us depth and quality. So Jean-Claire Todibo is of interest to Manchester United by all accounts. Waiting for more information on that. Only really an option if Maguire is sold, though. There you go. Also, West Ham, more reports that having agreed an agreement in principle for Edson Alvarez, West Ham are expected to go back in for Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. So McTominay still wanted by West Ham. He's also wanted, I should say, by AS Roma because of Matic being a target for Stade de Rennes over in France. So another report here that says that Stade de Rennes are wanting to manage Matic, which means that maybe Jose could be tempted to go in and have a cheeky bid for Scott McTominay. Let's hope that that's got some basis to it and that's true. And the other players that we're trying to sell at this moment in time, obviously we know that the most advanced potential outgoings at this moment are Fred and Donny van der Beek. So Man United hope they can push through the sales of Donny van der Beek and Fred this week while they await offers for Harry Maguire and Eric Bailly. United need to sell before they can make their next transfer move for Sofyan Amrabat and Jean-Claire Todibo among their targets. So we've got to sell in order to go and buy now. I think that's pretty clear. On Amrabat, we're expected to go in for him once Fred and or McTominay and or Donny, one of these guys is sold. If we can get rid of one of the midfielders or two of the midfielders, there's every possibility that's when we strike for Sofyan Amrabat. So he wants to join the club. He's agreed to join. He'd like to play for Man United and Ten Hag. He'd like to have the Champions League football. He'd like to have the Premier League football. And he's got that history with Ten Hag, which means something. So, that's obviously good news. And it's expected that very soon we will go in for him. And he's obviously rejected the approaches of various different clubs. So new reports a few days ago said that West Ham were interested in Sofyan and had been speaking to him. Apparently he's rejected offers from West Ham and Saudi Arabia as he wants to join Manchester United. This week his move to United is expected to advance. So that's the latest we've got on that. Plus also Juventus sniffing around him. Apparently they're interested in hijacking the deal. But because of Sofyan Amrabat's stance that he really wants to play for Ten Hag and United, it's unlikely that he'd be prepared to go to Juventus right now, who are having some difficulties of their own right now, aren't they? The Champions League football at United, the Premier League football, playing for Ten Hag is too much of a draw for Sofyan Amrabat at the moment. So he's only got his mind set on joining Manchester United at the moment, but it is going to take some player sales first on our part before we're going to go in for Sofyan Amrabat and spend the money. So that's the latest sort of transfer news there, peeps. Nothing crazy, but we're hoping that obviously West Ham are going to lodge a bid for Maguire and or McTominay very, very soon. That's the biggest story of the day. Many different reports saying that's the case. Dharmesh Sheth from Sky Sports and various different outlets suggesting that West Ham are ready now to go in for Maguire and or McTominay because of their agreement in principle now with Edson Alvarez. So he says, having reached an agreement in principle for Edson Alvarez, West Ham are expected to go back in for Man United's Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. That's pretty much the latest afternoon news, guys, in a nice little concise hour-long show. I'm going to get into the live chat now. Yep, nice news, not bad. Let's hope more info's coming out in regards to player sales, so then we can pull the trigger on new signings. Sofyan Amrabat and Jean-Claire Todibo, and maybe even Leonardo, Brazilian forward, are the most likely targets for Man United now between now and the end of the window. Okay, so I'm just going to go over to Twitter, guys. Please do click that link at the top of the chat. Give us a retweet. I'll shout out every single legend that retweets the show here. We've had 14 retweets. Let's be having you. Thank you to Guyam Legend for retweeting the show, mate. Get in there, you beauty. Also, let's give a big shout out here to Aaron Homeyard, Compost Smurf, CZ Bam, the Don Berber, aka Ryan, aka the Gaming Simp, Stephen Braun, Jaden MUFC, Erwan Abdullah, Luan France, Trace Way, Gungshi, Kieran, and Vincent Bullock. Thank you, each and every one of you legends, for going over there and giving us a retweet, guys. Every little retweet helps us spread the word of the show. Thank you to each and every one of you legends. I appreciate it. And also the tweeter. The tweeter gave us a retweet at the end there as well. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Right, I'm going to get into the Q&A now, everybody. So have your say. I'm going to stick around for 5-10 minutes and listen to what you've got to say about anything we've discussed. Maguire, McTominay, Amrabat, whatever you want to say. Let's get stuck into the live chat. As always, hit the like button if you haven't done so, and subscribe to the channel, and let's be having you. Okay, then. Hope by the time I'm 66, the Qataris will own United. I know, Andreas. It's such a long way away, mate. It seems like it's such a long way away. What's the update on the new ownership, says Bishal? There isn't one, bud. It's understood that that Sheikh Jassim and co are leading the bidding process, but the Glazers are still undecided as to what to do. It seems that there's a bit of a split in the Glazer camp. Some want to sell, some don't want to sell. Therefore, it's slowing down the whole process. If you believe certain outlets, it could be wrapped up by as soon as November. But again, I just don't believe anything that comes out about this whole Glazer sale process at this moment. There's obviously NDAs, non-disclosure agreements in place where nobody can talk about it and talk about the inner workings of the deal. So we don't actually know, really. We're just assuming that the Glazers are thinking about selling the football club very, very soon. We know there's a couple of good offers on the table, but that's about it, really. Clint says, where do you think we'll finish this season? Clint, I'm going for second place, lad. I can't see us beating City this year, unfortunately. They just managed to show over the last few seasons they're the most consistent team at the top there. They've got the best depth in the squad as well. And Pep's a really good coach, obviously, and he gets the best out of them. They are a bunch of cheating bastards and they don't deserve it. But they're fundamentally the best team in England right now, in my opinion. So be hard to beat them. You never know. Be hard to beat them. If we had ambition and went and got KANE and all these players we've discussed, maybe we could have a go at it. But we're just a little bit too far off right now. Gungshi, thank you, Gungshi. Says smash a like for Don Piglioni, you legends. Thank you, Don Gungshi. And thank you once again for being a member for 42 months and gifting out a bunch of members today. You absolute Don. Moyes must want the sack and leave with a big payout. Maybe, Alan Carter. Good shout. He's going to spend his money on Maguire. He's going to sell Rice and spend his money on Maguire, McTominay, and maybe Martial. Goodness me. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? He deserves the sack just for buying those players. Never mind how he actually performs. Although he did just win a European trophy. Get in there, Will Chan. Thank you, bro. Yes, indeed. The Glazers ain't going nowhere. If Ten Hag wins the league, price will go up 50%. Those scum will ride it out. Do you reckon, Johnny? Well, that's a big if, though. I actually don't see us being able to win the league for a while unless they're going to go and really give us the team that we need. I know he actually had like £400 million spent now, Ten Hag. He spent a huge amount of money. In fact, I saw something the other day, and I almost don't want to say it because it sounds kind of bad, but I did see something the other day that said that Manchester United's net spend under Erik Ten Hag, net spend that is, already exceeds Jurgen Klopp's net spend at Liverpool. That's pretty messed up, isn't it? Ten Hag's only been here for a year. He's already spent more money. Net spend, that is. Net spend. That means player sales and, but he's already spent more money in terms of net spend than Jurgen Klopp over at Liverpool. He's been there for like 7-8 years. That's pretty outrageous, isn't it? And it goes to show you that, to be fair, Jurgen Klopp, although he's a big, toothy White Cliffs of Dover gob melt, he's done a reasonable job considering there's so much money being spent around the years, obviously. And, crikey, they haven't spent anywhere near as much as the top sides have spent. So, crazy. Blame the negotiators, yeah. United usually spends more than most clubs. Well, they do on players, it's true. It's not the money, it's how you spend it. So true, Eamon. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Finally, I think we're spending good money on good players right now that fit the Ten Hag system. I'm doing all right, thank you, Russell Holden. How are you going, lad? The media can't wait to stick the knife into Ten Hag. So true. They hate United. Don't forget Pink, Ten Hag smashed Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, etc. with less money at Ajax. So that's true, exactly, Cass, absolutely. Hey, I'm not blaming Ten Hag for Man United spending money. That's what he needs. We need the players. He's only been here a year anyway. We haven't even got going with the new season, and he spent 170 million this summer. So we haven't even got going yet. Sean says, hi, Pig, I'm good mates with Harry Maguire's wife, and she told me that he wants to stay and fight for his place, and he doesn't get the wages he wants. He's going nowhere. Goodness me. Gregory says, we have had that vampiric Glazers holding back United for the past 2 decades. Glazers out. Yes, spot on. Absolute scumbags. FSG are worse than Glazers. Don't get me started, says Alan Partridge. Bin Dipper Media always bringing up net spend. I know they are, aren't they? What happens when bankers running the club? True. Jurgen's a bit of a funny melt, though. Yeah, I do rate him as a coach, to be honest. I know he's a bit of a dirtbag, but I rate him as a coach. He's done well with Liverpool. I mean, winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues for them in the first time in 30 years. Big achievement, especially when you factor in they didn't spend as much as a couple of teams above them. Yep, it's disgusting, says Alan. Greedy, evil, clueless mugs running the club. We don't sell well, don't care less about Klopp and the bin dippers. Well, it's nice to see them bottling it again. I think maybe Klopp's time at Liverpool is coming to an end because he is, he's run his course now. They're sharting the bed now. As soon as we have a bad spell, they will hound him out, says Berber. Probably so. We're still suffering from Ed Woodward's tenure and horrible selling power. Spot on, so true. That's why we still got players like Maguire lingering around the gaff. You give up with Liverpool at the moment. Disco Dave says Maguire, McTominay, Martial and the Glazers are as welcome as Guinness fart in a sauna. A Guinness fart in a sauna. United fans deserve much better. A Guinness fart in a sauna. That's precise. That conjures up all sorts of horrible brain smells there. We only buy average washed up players and nobody else wants to sign. Oh, nice one, Russell. Good stuff. Yeah, that's it. Net spend, exactly. They managed to sell some players, didn't they? You're right about that, Mike James. So they have spent quite a bit, but their net spend is not that much. Oh, nice. We've got 145 likes. Keep hitting the thumbs up, guys. Help us get to 200 likes, guys. That'd be awesome. What position do you reckon we'll finish? I'm going second, Ishan. What's the latest Amrabat news? I'm late today. Mike Hill, we're still the same position, really. We're waiting to sell Fred and Donny. Then we'll go in for a bid. But Juventus are reportedly sniffing around him and maybe looking to hijack the deal. He should leave. They've been shafting him for years now. Ralph should be director. Yeah, he was actually talking it about things how they actually are. Maguire's on 200 plus £1,000 a week, somewhere in that region. He literally had a Champions League bonus because Man United had qualified for the Champions League and is now on 200,000 plus. An egg fart is bad, Madhouse. What about sprouts? Anyway, guys, enough about this. I'm going to have to wrap this afternoon show up there. But thank you, each and every one of you legends, for getting in here. You're a bunch of Dons and Donesses. I appreciate you all. Do come back after this video is finished and get your thoughts and opinions in about anything we've discussed. So, yes, come and have your say afterwards, after it's finished. And smash the like before you go. Hit the subscribe if you're new. Help us get to 73,000. Share us around, whatever. Get your thoughts and opinions in afterwards, as I say. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch and Kick at Flying Pig United. We'll be back on for the evening news show around about 10 PM, remember. We're on every night at 10, so come back and join us for that. We'll give you the latest lowdown on what's going on. If there's any big breaking news before then, like anything really big, we'll jump on, of course. But if not, I'll see you at 10 o'clock. Thank you, Clint. Thank you, all the legends of the channel. Once again, thanks to Gungshi for gifting out 5 members and being a long-time long schlong Don. Thank you, everyone else. Good to see you all. Thanks to all the moderators like Mikhail, Berber, and everyone for getting in here. Vutinator. Thank you to all the members in green for supporting the channel. Really do appreciate it. Get in there, Madhouse. Thank you, guys. See you tonight at 10:20, says Colin Ralph. Hey, maybe, you know, I'm not late. You guys are early. Now, around about 10. I'll say around about 10. Much love, guys. See you later. Come back and have your say. Piggy loves you. Links in the description to follow us on social media. And I'll see you later. Cheers for the chat, everyone. Great banter as usual. And there's the latest news. Man United trying to sell players. And then we're going to go in for Sofyan Amrabat. And maybe Maguire and McTominay are wanted by West Ham still in a double swoop. Let's hope that comes to fruition very soon. Thanks to everybody on the screen here. Thanks to all the mods, all the members. Have a great afternoon. Catch you on the next one. See you later. And Piggy loves you. And remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, as this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.